Hey guys, we're going to be taking a look at your review today. What I want you to do with this is, and I'm posting it in a couple different videos just so we don't run out of time. But what I want you to do is, as I'm going through this, I want you to attempt the problem, see if you can work it out, and then go ahead and hit play when you think you're ready or if you need additional help, and see if you're getting the same answers as me, okay? What I don't want you to do is just play this through, complete the work, and then try to take a test tomorrow, because that's not going to work very well, okay? I want you to try to work through it, to wrap your brains around this. Please remember too, in a lot of this, there's going to be conversions, and there's also going to be a need to isolate a variable. Take a look at what you know, and can you figure out the problem from what you know, okay? So let's look at number 2. We had done number 1 together on Friday, so we're going to start with number 2. And it says, what is the speed of an object if it can travel 70 meters in 35 seconds? Well, this one's pretty straightforward. We know that the equation for speed, which is the same as velocity, except velocity has a direction, right? So speed is equal to distance over time, right? And we have the distance here, 70 meters, and we have the time, 35 seconds. So we know then we set up the equation as 70 meters. Please make sure you are listing your units and showing all your work over 35 seconds. And when we divide that out, it's totally appropriate to use calculators today. It's not okay to use calculators on your phone if you're dinking around on other apps. If you're using it solely for your calculator, great. 70 divided by 35 is going to be 2, and the unit should be meters per second. And we know that that's a correct unit for speed, so we must be close to correct, right? So that's how fast this particular object is, 2 meters per second. Now it's asking you to calculate the time it would take the object to travel 3.5 kilometers at that same rate. Well, we want to make sure that we have the same units here. This is kilometers, this is in meters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the kilometers into meters. So I'm going to set up my conversion first, 3.5 kilometers. And I'm going to set up my conversion table. And I know that in 1 kilometer, and remember you want kilometer on the bottom so that you can cross them out. Sorry if my penmanship is not great here, doing it on a trackpad. There's 1,000 meters, right? 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Okay, so then I can cross my kilometers out. Don't mind my dog here. He wants attention. And I'm going to multiply that. So that would be 3,500 kilometers. Or excuse me, meters. All right. That's the distance that it's going. Okay, so I'm not done with the problem yet because it's asking what the time would be. Well, we already know that speed is equal to distance over time, right? So S equals D over T. But we need to find the time. We don't know the time, okay? So what that means is I need to isolate this variable right here. So what I want you to do, if you haven't already, is pause the video and try to figure out how you can isolate time and get the correct equation for time from what we know now, because we know the speed is 2 meters per second. We know the distance is going to be 3,500 meters, which is equidistant or the same as 3.5 kilometers. Okay, so pause and find that. And what we know is time is going to equal distance divided by I'm going to do this here so you can see that. It's not just an equal sign. Speed. So what I did to do that is I multiplied time over because it's on the bottom, and then I divide speed over. So time is equal to distance divided by speed. Now I can just plug what I know in. The distance is 3,500 meters. Okay. And that's over, the speed is 2 meters per second. And then I know that I can cross the meters out because one's on top and one's on bottom. And then I just would divide 3,500 by 2. And that's going to give me 1,750. And my unit that's left is seconds right here. And that is a time unit. So that would make sense. All right, now I want you to pause and try to figure out how far did that object travel in 1 hour. All right, once you've tried that, the object is still traveling at 2 meters per second. Okay, that's what we know. The object is still traveling at 2 meters per second, but this is in seconds. And down here we want to know how far it traveled in 1 hour. Okay, so we need to convert hour into seconds. Well, how do we do that? If we have 1 hour, we start with 1 hour, right? We know that there are 60 seconds, or excuse me, we want hours down here. So in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. And then we also know that in 60 minutes, excuse me, I should say in 1 minute. Let me erase that. Sorry, it's getting a little sloppy. There we go. In 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. So now we have gotten that once we multiply it. So 60 times 60 is 3,600 seconds. Okay, so in 1 hour there's 3,600 seconds. Now we have seconds and seconds. And we want to know how far. So we're looking for the distance. Far is a distance. Well, we know that speed, so dot, 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 speed is equal to distance over time. We need to isolate distance because that's the variable that we don't know. We know the speed is 2 meters per second. We know the time is 3,600 seconds because we know it's traveling 1 hour and there's 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So go ahead and try to isolate the variable here. Pause it if you need to. This isolation is pretty straightforward, right? All I have to do since time is on the bottom is multiply it over. So distance is equal to speed times time. So then I can plug in what I know, and the speed is 2 meters per second. And the time is 3,600 seconds. Okay. And so then the distance would equal 2 times 3,600, right? Because we have seconds on the bottom, seconds on the top. So that's going to leave me meters. So 2 times 3,600, if someone could do that for me, I believe is somewhere right around 7,200 meters. Okay? If I did that math correctly in my head, that should be the correct answer. And we know meter is a distance unit, so we should be in the correct order. All right, so when you move on to number 3, you will go ahead and click on the next video.